Have you ever noticed why sometimes the sea rises very high and other times it barely changes? Why do tides become stronger on some days and weaker on others? Today we are going to explore two fascinating types of tides, spring tide and neap tide. And don't worry, spring tides have nothing to do with the spring season. First, let's quickly understand what tides are. Tides are the rise and fall of ocean water levels, mainly caused by the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun on Earth's oceans. The moon has the strongest effect because it is much closer to Earth than the sun. But many people confuse tides with waves, but they are very different. Tides are the slow rise and fall of the ocean water level, whereas waves are the small movements on the surface of water, mainly caused by wind. Now, let's get back to the tide. Start with spring tide. Spring tides happen when the sun, moon, and earth are in a straight line. This happens during the new moon and the full moon. Look at this image. A new moon spring tide happens when the moon and the sun are in a straight line on the same side of the earth. The moon and sun both pull the ocean water in the same direction. Their pulls combine and become stronger. This makes the high tide very high and the low tide very low. Think of it like two people pulling a rope in the same direction. Their pulling becomes stronger together. In the same way, the moon and the sun pull the ocean water together, making the tides stronger. Now, look at this image. Full moon spring tide happens when the earth is between the moon and the sun, all in a straight line. The moon pulls the ocean water from one side, the sun pulls the water from the opposite side. Both pulls work together to make tides stronger. Imagine two people pulling a rope from opposite ends. The rope becomes very tight. In the same way, the ocean water rises and falls more during a full moon spring tide. Now let's understand neap tide. First quarter neap tide happens when the moon and the sun are at a right angle, it means 90 degree to the earth. The moon pulls the ocean water in one direction and the sun pulls the water in a different direction. Their pulls do not combine fully, so the tides are weaker. Imagine two people pulling a rope from different sides at an angle. The pull becomes weaker. High tide is not very high and low tide is not very low. The difference between high and low tide is small. Why it is called first quarter? It happens when we see half of the moon called the first quarter phase. Now, a third quarter neap tide. It happens when the moon and the sun are at a right angle to the earth, just like in the first quarter phase. The moon pulls ocean water in one direction and the sun pulls in a different direction. Their pulls partially cancel each other, so the tides are weaker. Like previous image, two people pulling a rope at an angle, the rope does not stretch much. So high tide is not very high and low tide is not very low. The difference between high and low tide is small. The third quarter moon is when we see half of the moon again, but this time the other side is bright. These tides are very important for fishing, ship navigation, coastal activities, marine life. Fishermen often plan their work based on tide types. So, spring tides are strong and neap tides are weak, all because of the sun and moon. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like and subscribe to learn more amazing earth facts. Thank you.